promised in the previous video, this is the second episode where we'll be beating intermediate mode. You're going to want to get militant. You should have enough coins because as long as the battle pass is going on, and you also picked up all those battle pass points during your easy mode playthrough, then you should be able to get militant, and we already have these three from our easy mode. If you have override map again, you could do whatever map you want. These aren't very good maps, so we might need to rejoin, but I'll just keep rejoining and then I'll see you once I find a good map. Okay, so I'm back and I found this forest cap map, which is 1 star. It's not the best, but it's fine. The best one, of course, is the zero, I think it's 0 stars, Summer Castle. We don't have enough to place on militant first wave, so we're going to place a scout here to carry us through the first wave, but mostly we're saving up for militant. Of course, it's fine if we leak a few enemies because we have the HP. So militant's very strong because we need a good DPS here. And I'm going to start speeding up the game and then cut to voiceover version of me. Now, this will probably be one of the last times I start speeding up the game because this is really the last mode that is really easy. We're going to let these few enemies leak because these one scout won't deal with it. But that's completely fine because we have 100 HP, both of them only have 5 HP. Now, when we have the money, we're going to finally place our militant down. And you want to get all your militants to level 2 because level 2 does the most damage for the least amount of cost. In other words, cost efficiency. And now we're just waiting for a bit. Here, I actually ended up getting more militants instead of upgrading it to level 2 because I don't know, I wasn't thinking at the time. And eventually, like right now, I'm going to delete this scout because the scout is actually just taking up room. And you can only actually have 40 troops down, which means that we really need to pick and choose which ones do the most DPS. And militant by far does the most DPS to the bosses and to single target in our loadout right now. Of course, later on we're going to try and get down a Deado Man because it's going to help us deal with crowds very efficiently. And if you do have the money, you probably want to get the Slime Trooper because the Slime Trooper will really help you speed up the process and also stopping risks, because in testing I was able to get a 17-minute run with Slime Trooper and only a 20-minute run without it, so it is much more efficient and it'll save you a lot of time and it'll just overall make your efficiency much better. But as you see right now, I'm still just getting more and more level 2s. Of course, level is talking about how many times you upgrade it and not starting at level 1. We're of course upgrading it because it's cost efficient, like I said before, but also because we need level 1 to see hidden enemies, which comes into play in this mode much more than in easy mode. And of course that's true for all modes, it'll use hidden detection more and more. Anyways, there's not too much to talk about here because this mode really isn't the hardest thing of all time because it could be beaten with just militant, scout, and Deado Man. There you just saw the ghoul boss, which really isn't that much of a trouble. It should be killed within the first loop. Really nothing will make it past the first loop until the final boss. Here we got a Deado Man, like I said before, because we really need that crowd control. And of course random is its best targeting. We could get some militants over here just to fit some more at the beginning of the track. Here these bolts are coming out. They actually will make it pretty far because they are just simply fast and they will soak up a lot of bullets, but it's completely fine. And that was actually a really close call, but it should be fine if you have Slime Trooper. And also if you just place your militants in a better map or in better placement than I did here, because my militions aren't really in the best formation. But it's completely fine because this is a very on punishing mode and will give you a lot of rewards anyways. So I'm also upgrading all my things to level 3 now because it's really good upgrade to get eventually, but only really once you have 40 out of 40 troops, because it's not as good as just placing another militant, which if you do start upgrading to level 3 too early, you could die to those bolts earlier shown because they were just that fast and you need all the DPS you could get. Now we're getting level 4 finally, and level 4 is a very good upgrade because it just increases your damage to 12 per shot, which means your militiants, which are only an intermediate tower that's very easy to get, are dealing 80 DPS, which that's a lot to think about considering it only costs 800 coins. Of course, the DPS is slightly lower due to a common Roblox bug with fast fire rate, but not much you could do. That DPS is way more than enough to deal with Patient Zero, which is the final boss. And this is just another small boss before Patient Zero, which is really just here to give us money. And that money will be dumped straight into more militiants, which are really OP at this stage. Now, I'm going to cut back to myself during the recording, since I think I explained the boss really well during the recording. Now we're just going to upgrade these final ones. And once he gets past these guys' range, we are actually going to sell them. So we can replace them in the back over there, so we get even more DPS. This is what's known as microing and will be very important later on in the harder modes. But for right now, it's really just to get faster times and so we can beat it with a low amount of towers. But later on, it will be actually needed. So he has 100k, which is a lot more than the brute. But with this new really OP tower, yeah, we should be fine. Delman doesn't do too much here because he's more of an area crowd control tower. So when Patient Zero round gets over to here, then we're going to start selling this. We're also going to sell our Dowman for more of these militiants, because militiants do a lot more DPS. So as you saw, he puts red circles, which lowers their DPS, but that's fine. So we're going to start selling these back ones and placing more. See, all of these guys are out of range and they will never be back in range. So these guys are doing nothing, so we can sell them. And we're going to come over here. We're going to just start placing them. We should be fine without placing these guys back, but it's better because we are going to get a much faster time. Which, since you're going to be grinding the strat, you really want this fast time. We're going to sell these guys again. And now we're placing them in at this new curve. Of course, your map might be different, but you're just placing it in a further back location. That's the general idea. Okay, he is dead. We're just going to place some more so these spawns die. And there we go. With good luck, that should be much easier, but that wasn't the best luck. But it was actually decent luck, so yeah. We almost also got our MVP, though it does reset between matches, so we did not get it here, and next time maybe. So from that we got 600 coins, an achievement, and a bunch of XP. So now if we head on back, we'll see that we have a lot of achievements here. You should have gotten First Contact from that because he has 100,000 HP, and that was 100,000 damage. You should have gotten Battle Hardened, and there's a high chance that you got Student, which is from logbooks, which are chance-based, but because of the breakers, which spawn multiple times, you should have gotten it. I'm going to claim this. And now we have 1,500 coins.